I still haven't seen any 2025 movies yet to review for you guys, but this past weekend I did finally see a couple of 2024 movies that finally got wide releases for themselves, so I'm going to talk about them. We'll start with The Brutalist. The Brutalist is a period drama directed by Brady Corbett, starring Adrien Brody, Felicity Jones, and Guy Pearce. Adrien Brody plays a Hungarian Jewish immigrant. This takes place during World War II. He is a Holocaust survivor. He has made his way into America to chase the American dream, start a new life. Back in his country, he is regarded as a great architect. He came to America to continue that journey, continue that career for himself. And one of the projects he takes on, he builds this library of sorts for this rich guy's house. The man is very impressed with it, and he believes this guy can take on a really huge project that he has envisioned for himself. Now it's Adrien Brody realizing the American dream and, the journey, the destination, and everything that goes along with that. This is one of those movies that I've been hearing about since it had its film festival, I believe back in September. It was getting a lot of buzz. People were saying it's a masterpiece, it's monumental. It was sounding like the type of movie that was going to get nominated for and win a ton of Oscars. And by now you guys know this, I have a love-hate relationship with the Academy. I mean, I respect some of the movies. I even love some of the movies that they'll nominate for Best Picture, and then there are some they nominate, I'm just like, this is just overrated. But when a movie gets the level of buzz all around that a movie like The Brutalist got, I do feel that's a movie worth checking out. However, the problem was a lot of these Oscar bait movies will get very limited releases towards the end of the year around December, and typically where I live, I don't get a lot of limited releases near me. So yeah, I had to wait for a wider release with all the peasants. So finally got a wider release where I was this past weekend. I finally got the chance to check it out. And yeah, I gotta tell you, I was really impressed with this movie. Starting with the acting here, Adrien Brody, if he's not the favorite to win Best Actor at the Oscars this year, he probably should be. I mean, I completely buy into him in this role. I mean, not just because of his accent or how he demonstrates his knowledge when it comes to architecture and everything, but just what he's going through as a character. He's kind of broken me. He's been through a lot. I mean, he's a Holocaust survivor. That's about one of the worst things you could possibly ever endure, especially during that time. He's made it into America. He doesn't know anything. He doesn't know anybody. He's trying to find a career for himself. He's trying to make it, and there are people who will help him. There are people who won't. You buy into the struggle, but you also buy into the knowledge he has in his craft. Like, in a lot of ways, it's a pretty heartbreaking performance from him. It's probably not as heartbreaking as The Pianist, but it's still up there. Like, you're rooting for this guy to succeed, and when he's going through hell to try to get his family into America or try to climb his way through this project, you feel for him. He's easily the standout in this movie, and I believe he deserves every award he's going to get. But really, the entire cast across the board all do a really good job. Felicity Jones, who plays his wife, she doesn't really have much of a role until like the second half of the movie. I also thought she really did well in this movie. She plays a very faithful, supporting wife, but she's also dealing with her own struggles being here in America, where she doesn't know anybody, where she's trying to adapt to the American dream. Guy Pearce, though, is absolutely a standout in this movie because he's the American who takes him in, takes him onto this project, has this vision, has this dream. They had a way of portraying this character where it's like, you want to trust him, you want to believe he has the best intentions with the main character at heart. He just sees him as someone who can really help him achieve his dream, achieve this vision. But you also feel like there's something slimy about him, which in general does typically sound like the characters Guy Pearce plays, but in here, he does it the best I've seen him do it. Could he also get an Oscar nomination? Yeah, I absolutely think he could. And if he won Best Supporting Actor, I wouldn't be upset with that at all. Also, what I really appreciated with this movie was just the story. I mean, just seeing, the way Adrien Brody just cared about his craft, and the way he handled everything, how he built stuff, the vision he saw for everything. Like, the movie really sucks you into the world a little bit. You feel like you're there. You feel like you're on the project. You feel like you're building something that's really going to be generational. Definitely gives you a lot of respect for people in the architecture business. Like, there's a lot that goes into it. There are people you have to meet. There are certain methods you have to pick up. There are certain skills you need to acquire. It's not a job for the faint of heart, that is for sure. I also thought the writing of this movie was really impressive because it nailed all the areas it needed to. It all felt real. The dialogue, it felt I could understand it. In the sense, like, it felt like the way normal people talk, or the way people on a project will communicate with each other. Passions are high, there's gonna be tensions, there's gonna be arguments, and some of it when a character, like, really, nails the other character with a line, there was a lot of laughter in my audience because you just know someone hit a nerve and it's relatable. It's exactly what people will go through with each other. And yeah, I'll get to the elephant in the room. This is a 3.5 hour long movie. Now, this movie does have an intermission in the middle of it that lasted, I want to say, 20 minutes, maybe even 30. It's only the second time I've dealt with an intermission in a movie theater, so that was interesting. So I don't know if the movie is 3.5 hours plus that intermission or 3.5 hours with that intermission. But yeah, either way, the movie's around 3 hours long, and that's a long fucking movie, and that's what I'm sure is the biggest concern that's on audience's mind. Is it too long? But I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I thought the movie actually flowed extremely well. Like, I have seen 2-hour long movies in the year of 2024 that felt way longer than The Brutalist did. And that's a message I really love to drive home with people who really get upset with a movie's length or how long a movie is. I tell those people, I'm like, it's not that you don't like that the movie's long. You don't like that the movie isn't paced well. But for me, I thought the movie flowed extremely well, and I didn't really feel like I ever at any point had to look at my watch or look at the time or anything like that. I was transfixed into the movie. And yeah, I also thought the movie very well touched on the various themes that go with it. It knew when to feel a little bit more depressing. It knew when to feel a little bit more fulfilling. I mean, it's not just this guy taking on this project. It's him taking on becoming a part of America and realizing what he can do with a new life here. It's trying to achieve that for yourself. It's trying to get to that point. And along that way, you're gonna run into some shit. Could be from people you just met, could be from people that you thought had your back but didn't, could be from your own family. It's really not easy times that we live in, especially back then, and especially from people who aren't a part of this country. That doesn't just go for people who come to America, it goes from anyone in the world who ventures to a different part of the world that they've never been a part of. That's what I do think makes this movie surprisingly relatable. Not necessarily in the sense that you've traveled to different parts of the world and, you know, you had to live in there and you had to adapt to that culture or anything like that. It could be anything, to moving to a new town and just trying to get acclimated to that way of life, or taking on a huge project that is part of your dream, is part of your skill, and you really need to use this as your opportunity to show, like, hey, this is what I'm good at. We all know what it means to work hard for something, and to work hard for something means going through sacrifice, going through pain, going through some shit. This movie really illustrated that, and I appreciate it. So all in all, I thought The Brutalist was excellent. It's extremely well acted across the board. Adrien Brody is definitely going to be the betting favorite to win the Oscar. Thought Brady Corbett's direction of the movie was great. There's some shots in here that I thought were really impressive. Even just like landscape shots or just shots of, you know, the project being built, or moments where it's one continuous take. I love those. The writing was great. The story surprisingly flowed extremely well. I love the various themes it touched on. It's a long movie for sure, but it's one that you're not going to feel like it wastes your time or drags way too long in. And honestly, the biggest flaw I have with this movie is the fact that I didn't get to see it in 2024, because this probably would have made my top 10 best list. In fact, I'm fairly confident it would have. So yeah, let's stop the limited releases. Just let everybody experience these movies when you want to launch them. So that's all I gotta say, guys. Thank you so much for watching my video, and as always, don't forget to leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you all next time.